I want to throw that out there to everybody, right? What should you get tattoos of? I mean, I know a lot of people who have tattoos. I know a lot of people who have tattoos of lots of different things. I have a dear friend of mine, a roommate that I grew up, or that I've stayed close with since college, and he's got a big old Saint Michael the Archangel. He's got a beautiful Sacred Heart tattooed on one side. He's got a lot of that imagery, and then I know people who have like their own names tattooed on them. And I'm not knocking it right now, but I'm curious about what our thoughts are going into it. Anybody want to start us off? Nina, you look like you do.
Why do you always pick on me?
You move towards the microphone.
I definitely move towards away, but I mean, personally, it took me like 3 years to figure out that I wanted a tattoo. Like I knew I wanted one, but I didn't know what of just yet. And so I was like, let me get like something permanent on my body that, you know, I cannot take off. It better be something that I really want, that meant a lot to me. So like the reason why I got mine is because like I had a very like strong faith journey with mine. And so I'm just like, I want something to like remind myself that like through the darkest times, like I have grown a lot from my past. And that's why I got mine. I have friends that literally has a balloon, and I asked her, like, what's that mean? She's like, I just want a balloon. I'm like,
I like balloons.
She didn't even say, she said, I just want a balloon. I'm like, okay. So I think that like your first tattoo should be something that's like very sentimental to you if you're gonna get one, because like again, why
are you saying your first though? Are you saying that there's a point where it becomes balloons, or what's the
I think thought? So I think if you're gonna get a tattoo, just like your first one or just in general get another one, like it should be something meaningful, sentimental to you, because it is gonna be on your body until you're old and wrinkly, and yeah,
it's gonna look worse when you're old and wrinkly,
probably. Yeah
Okay,
yeah,
cool. Any other thoughts?
I think definitely I think there's 3 criteria. I think criteria number 1 is it means something to you. And criteria number 2 is it should look objectively nice in some sense, or it shouldn't, at the very least, it shouldn't look objectively ugly. It shouldn't be like, it's okay that it's disgusting and like make my body look gross because it means something to me. It should be something that's nice to other people too, even if they don't know.
Was it you that brought up tattoos as a form of self-harm, or was that Juan Pablo over there? Yeah, I think that's I mean, I've watched like those TLC shows or whatever of people who are doing all sorts of, but for the purpose of being ugly, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, not to harp too much on this, but I think it's absolutely worth being said. All things we do should reflect the true, the good, and the beautiful, right? And not, and body modifications are not an exception to that rule. And I think that there is something to that.
I will say, when you say the true, the good, and the beautiful,
sure,
the true is ugly. You know, there's the dichotomy of man who, you know, there's the people who will do everything with purpose, but that only has meaning if they're the people who do everything without it. There's the people who go there and just say, I want to be covered with a bunch of dime store tattoos. I want them to look like I just got them out of the little gumball machine and I plastered them on, and, you know, good for them. I'm sure they have their whole purpose of why they did that. But when it comes to having a significance, when people like us who put more thought into them, there's a difference between people who do it for a reason and people who don't. People who do it for a reminder to be better, and people who do it as a little call for attention, because who doesn't want to be different? Who doesn't want to look extreme? Who doesn't want to be the coolest guy in the room?
Right, but I mean, to take that to its logical conclusion, right? I could chop my hand off with a table saw and get a lot of attention. I know that's not what you're saying, but I'm saying like there is a truth that is being reflected or not. And when you said the truth is ugly, I would argue that that suffering is ugly. There are very real elements of being human that are not attractive, right? But truth, being truth with a capital T, is beautiful in that it's a reflection of the creator. I don't know, we can go down that rabbit hole, but you had a finger up.
I was just gonna say, so like when you're talking about the person who wants to choose to be covered with like the dime store tattoos, like good for her, and like my heart was like breaking like hearing you say that, because I'm like, no, that's like heartbreaking for her, because what that tells me is like that's all she believes she's worth. You know, like, or maybe that's all she can afford, because let's be real, tattoos are extremely expensive. You know, and so like, what is she trying to express, like in and through that? Like, she is expressing her truth, but is she expressing the higher truth of what her body actually is, you know, which is this beautiful temple of the Holy Spirit? And we believe that for everybody, not just people who have been baptized. Like, we believe that everyone's created in the image and likeness of God. And so everyone has the capacity to be the temple of the Holy Spirit.
All right, guys, John Henry Span here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure you check out the full video. Also, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share it with anybody who you might think is interested. Thanks for being here.